Hello again. Welcome back to Ski Movement Motor Skills Training. This is trying to help instructors learn the book for examinations and also be able to, the focus is motor skills. Okay, my focus is visual, auditory, kinesthetic. So kinesthetic is the motor skills part of teaching, is to be able to grip and relate muscles, grip muscles and relate it to the information. So this section is edge control. And I'm going to keep these more like chairlift practices as a focus, because it's things we can do on the chairlift and then move to the snow and try to simulate it on the snow. So edge control, we have inclination and angulation. Inclination is where the whole body tilts over together. Okay. Usually it's not too beneficial. Sometimes it can be used tactically. Older people, you might focus on and not worry too much about them leaning their whole entire body for inclining. They may not have the ability or the range of motion to create angles within the body. Okay, so angulation, there's a lot more motor skill that's attached to this. And that's what I'd like to focus on. So with angulation, we create some edge control through the way our knees work. So if you're on a chairlift, follow along with me so you can feel this work. So angulation, we have knee angulation. Okay, that's where as we bend our knee, we can rotate and angle our feet, angle the edge of the ski so that how the ski is related to the surface of the snow is basically what it is. So if you pull your feet up and tip them on the edge, and then if you try to turn your knees over with them straight, okay, you can get some angulation with that steering ability. But as you bring a knee up, you can see how much more angulation is created. Okay, so that's why at the finish phase of the turn, we get small at the finish phase of the turn. That progressive increase in angulation, bending, rotating the knee to the outside, it helps belly out the turn. Okay, so if you take that in the chairlift and you have people pull up and explain to them and pull up and rotate, you can do all this on the chairlift and show them how you can get this angulation by rotating the knees, and even more angulation as the knee bends. The other angulation component is going to be in the hip joint. So we, by abducting or reaching the leg out, we create edge angle. Okay, so you can, in the chairlift, you can have them sit and rotate their knees out. Try that and feel the muscles that grip when you take and you rotate the legs out to the side. Even if they're straighter, you can rotate the legs out to the side and create edge angle. Okay, this creates an angle in the body of the hip, that C shape. Okay, so depending on the speed and the intensities of how somebody's skiing, they'll be able to maintain balance if they're going fast enough by extending, abducting the legs out to the side. Okay, so that can be included with the bending and flexing to create really large edge angles. Okay, so that's a chairlift exercise. Play with that on the chairlift and feel those muscles grip. You have these trunk muscles that work to pull and rotate along with the muscles in the pelvis. Okay, so the trunk has to create some of that angle in the body, so we create some of the angles through above the pelvis through the flexion of the trunk to maintain balance over the outside ski. And if you do that, you'll feel this stuff grip. Okay, and you feel it cramp. You try to really put your legs out. you'll feel that cramp. Okay, and then you have the other trunk muscles that flex forward and rotate. Okay, so those are kind of the basic two angulations you need to come up with and play with it. If you understand the muscles, you can create anything you want to do just by focusing on muscles that create that movement. Okay, and you can play all kinds of games on the snow if you understand that there's muscles you want to get your client to grip and flex and feel. Okay, you can just stand there on the snow and grip them statically. You can put somebody in a stance on their edge angles, have them whisker their poles out to lightly have balance control because their skis are going to arc, and you could just push them along in a traverse and tell them to anticipate that their skis are going to arc up the hill, and then you could change that angle a little bit and take off gliding down the hill some until you're doing a J-turn, big long turn, so they can experience what it's like to balance over their skis with these huge grip muscles for angulation through the trunk and the hip. Just ideas. There's plenty of things you can do if you understand the muscles involved in angulation and inclination. So sliding, when we're really out there and we're balanced over the edges, we're carving the ski, leaving 2 clean tracks in the snow. Just terms you need to know. Sliding is just a sliding away. It's pretty much straightforward. And slipping, slipping is where the edge angles are kind of flat and you're moving sideways like a side slip. Okay, so you can have them on a hill where you set these really gripped angles, have them set their edges, and then roll their feet and knees down the hill to break loose and slide sideways, and then set the edges in again. So that's slipping, side slipping. And skidding is when you blend those in a turn. So you're skidding, or I like to call it drifting. Drifting a turn where you're just halfway in between carve and halfway in between slipping. You're drifting the turn around, which most are intermediate skiers, that's what you want to get them to do, is to drift or skid a turn around. Finding balance on the outside ski. Some shared balance on the inside ski. So balance with edge control. Again, there's one other aspect to edge control, which I'm not sure why it's not in the book. But there's your feet. So what we do in the boot is super important. It is in my skiing. Okay, so when I'm setting edge angles, I can take and just turn my feet in my boots, and I can affect that ski edge angle. If you sit on the chairlift and you have your skiers just work their muscles to tip their feet, it makes a huge difference on the edge angle. Depending on the forces involved, you may not get a lot of movement in the ski, but what it does, it creates the structure in the boot, the muscular strength to hold those edge angles tight when those feet are gripped. So play with these exercises of gripping the feet back and forth. They should be timed in with rotating the legs, abducting the legs, gripping the trunk muscles, and swinging them back and forth. I kind of love this. It gives me a nice cramp. Okay, so the feet tip and move in the boot to control edge angle as well. And it's control structure to the edge angle that you've created. But the edge angle also does change when you steer the feet. And this is a really fun way to ski. It's in my skiing, especially in the slow, kind of loopy turns, low edge angle turns. I like to use it. If you steer your feet in a boot, if you watch as you steer your feet further, your edge angle of the ski is going to change. Okay, so it'll change even without even moving the knees or anything else. If I steer my feet at the finish of the turn, I initiate a change of edge angle, pressing on the outside and coming around. You steer just the way the joints in your ankles are. By turning your feet further, it changes the edge angles. Okay, it's a super valuable skill to add to these other edge angle control movements in skiing. All right. Get an idea on those things, practice them on the hill. It's going to help you pass your test for sure. All right.